Somewhere out there, someone singing a prayer. There's someone thinking of. Hey, everybody! Today's live stream, cornered egregore. Memetics and distributed cognition well, the story goes something like this. I was in the shed watching one of the videos from Thunder Bay, which is an event that happened in Thunder Bay, Canada, where I couldn't go, though I was invited to go. I could not because of legal reasons, borders and such. But it was like right around my birthday that it happened, and so I made a promo for it, and I'm invested. And now the videos from the event are coming out, and I'm going through them. And well, the one that I started watching today was the one I'm going to show you shortly of the guy we don't know. That guy, Richard Maundrell, talking to Jonathan Pageau, and Pageau was trying to indoctrinate him into our egregore, and frankly, he did it, I thought, very clumsily, and so I was triggered to make this big thinky talky stream. That's the thing is, that was from the shed eye position, and now I'm at the live streaming eye position, and boy howdy, things are different here. But thank you for joining me. Here is some of the remember, embody. You are the embodiment of everything you believe in, love, and hold true. Remember, embody. We want what's best for you. Okay, and now I'm gonna run some of this conversation here, which I have not set up in the clips seen in OBS yet. Hey!
Of this body that we participate in. And one of the things that we're proposing, or at least I'm proposing, is that there's a strict analogy, and I don't make this up, it's something you find in ancient writers from a very long time ago. There's a strict analogy between the manner in which your parts, so you have in you different thoughts, you have different processes, you have different fighting interests in you. You can have things pulling you in one direction and another. You can love your mother and hate her at the same time for some reason. Like you can have these different things pulling you in different directions, but nonetheless, you're able to cohere that multiplicity into one, so you can have a pretty much a single, at least a through line of experience that you can recognize as Richard, right? And the notion is that there is a strict analogy. It's actually like it's a function, it's a structure that repeats itself at different levels, and that we can recognize it at lower levels. It's easier for us because we can see how in us we have these parts that come together towards one, but it's harder to recognize it happening at a higher level because we don't have access to the higher experience. Like you're not a city, I'm not a city, right? I don't have access to that. And so the problem that people are trying to figure out is that how does it work? Like how can we account for that? How can we account for the fact that, just the fact that if I'm in the army, you know, and the commander says, do this stuff, and then we do it, and it fits into this big structure that is ultimately going to fight a war, but the soldiers digging the trenches he's not at the level of the higher causality. He's doing a little thing, but he's participating in a whole, just like the cells in your body are not aware of you, but they're participating in you. And so this is you could say that's the problem that a lot of people are trying to face. And in my case, it's actually, I'm trying to reconcile ancient languages.
I gotta say, I love the way he says reconcile. Hello, Eve, and welcome to the Cornered Egregore Memetics Distributed Cognition live stream over on the Griswold Grimm YouTube channel. We're going over Thunder Bay stuff. Very, very thinky-talky. But remember, you're gaining participatory knowledge in a distributed cognition network right now. You know what you should probably have? Savings throws versus mind control. Let's do that part of the show. Well, we're gonna have to find the dice. Here's something else we'll be covering sometime today.
Technology and information have substituted for deep knowledge and wisdom, which is really what John was saying. And I think the dangers the technology problem is the genie is out of the box and it can't be put back in. But one of the difficulties about it is all it doesn't answer any questions, of course. All it does is enlarge our powers to alter things. And that's only as good as our wisdom about what needs altering and in what way and to what end.
That's very true, Ian. And what I think is I have the wisdom to alter your cognition in a way that's beneficial to you and myself and the community at large. But in case I'm wrong, you should roll a savings throw. Pick between survival, social, wisdom. Nope. Oh. Cut. Choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart to base your savings throw on. If you get over 10, you take half damage from the mind control. You may have earned bonuses for chat participation or Discord, other community participation in the egregore. Those bonuses apply now and are reset. Like as of this moment, after this roll, you will have no more bonuses and will have to re-earn all of them. Mwahaha. So remember, over 10, you take half damage from the mind control. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Voila! Oh, choose. I'm not retaking it. 7 for the survivalist on this Survival Monday. 17 for the socialists. 7 for the wisdom folks. And 8 for the heart. I hope you had your bonuses. Otherwise, boy howdy. Here's some more of this guy.
Of gods and of angels and of the manner in which people talked about principalities and how they would celebrate common figures in order to exist together, that this is a way to help us understand what was going on, instead of just thinking that every single culture in the entire world for thousands and thousands of years were just a bunch of idiots doing things that make no sense. It's like, let's actually try to understand it. And I think that some of John's work and some of the things that have been happening are giving us keys to make sense of that stuff.
Can you take me through an example of the levels as we move up hierarchically?
There's a neat part where John starts to go in as above, so below, which I thought I should actually bring up as well. You know, we are because so like we exist in this corner, and one of the defining features of the corner is like everybody's got the Challenger explosion, remember when moment, and like that's, I guess, like a 9/11. Where were you when it happened? They have one of those, but like for when they came across Jordan Peterson, and like so that's a defining lobster characteristic of the community. Egregore, the hive mind. Now I don't know what I was gonna search for anymore. Where'd that go? I don't know. Give him some Y. Okay. Have some Y, guys.
Pathway of addiction of ventral tegmental area goes to nucleus accumbens and trickle down like a cascade. What we have is kind of dopamine flows, these higher wheels turn, which then make the lower wheels turn, and it's kind of cascade of dopamine. Dopamine cascades down, cascades down. So it's almost like a machine, isn't it? It's almost like a real kind of like device. That kind of the cogwheels turning above causes the cogwheels below to turn, and your arms and legs move. Isn't that fascinating, isn't it? And now the question is, if addictive drugs activate your mesolimbic dopamine system, then what naturally activates your pathway of addiction? So that's the question mark. Well, the answer is your emotion centers, surely. If addictive drugs normally make you addicted and do things you wouldn't normally do, then basically your emotions are your natural drive, aren't they? So we're going to now talk about the emotion centers. This is where it gets interesting, that drive all our behavior.
No, we're not. Why? That was just a big teaser. What we're going to talk about instead is what's in the title. We're going to go. The corner is an egregore. Spoiler alert: the corner is an egregore. But the title part of the stream, remember, everybody, was Memetics and distributed cognition. And now I'm going to do a spiel about that and feel as though I've delivered on that part of the show. Okay. So, first, distributed cognition is memetics. It's like memetics is the how of a lot of the distributed cognition. So it's like this: all these people that walked into that room at Thunder Bay were able to like look around at the other neurons and assess what the proper range of behavior might be, and then whether or not they would decide to deviate from what they perceived it to be. And it's a matter of like, so like you see the guy, and then you like first identify whether friend or foe, and then if it's friend, all the behavior range distributed or observed, you trust are like that entity came to it through pursuit of its own self-interest, and so those behaviors are safe to mirror and emulate. And so like that's a lot of how we get crowds to do things that they probably shouldn't do, because so there's an example of how we have this distributed cognitive framework, like through observing others that we see self-similar enough. We can and then we evaluate our trust relationship with them, and we have issues there where like figures dressed in white cloaks with authority are like trust signalers that modify whether or not your saving throw against their mind control. Right. So if that was clear at all, or there's like questions for clarification, I'll take those. Meanwhile, have someone. Oh, this part is important.
Syndrome, and many would think, well, if there's one fate worse than death, it's got to be the locked-in syndrome people, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to eat, unable to communicate. Except that what they found was, this involves the idea of hedonic adaptation, right? The idea that when we experience a catastrophic event, loss of a loved one, or a major setback in life, there's a temporary reduction in or let's say spinal cord injury people. Typically depression for a period of time, but with rehabilitation and over time, they usually return to their pre-accident level of happiness or contentment. It works the other way too, with lottery winners. There's a period of euphoria, happiness obviously, before they return, regression to the mean, back to their standard. It's almost like there's a sort of thermostat level of happiness.
The thermostat level of happiness. Greetings, Sigma Trialectic, to this Mimetic distributed cognition, cornered egregore stream. I just played a clip that referenced a thing called hedonic adaptation, where like things are so bad, your brain shuts off how bad they are and focuses and adapts to the horrible existence that you have in a way that you can tolerate. I think it's also related to the famous. Oh, by the way, I think it'd be a really great idea for someone who's actually productive to make like trading card versions of all the popularly cited experiments, like the one where they put water in people's ears, with people who are like half paralyzed and like are getting along just fine. They squirt water in their ears, and then suddenly the person remembers they're half paralyzed, and like life sucks for them. So the deposit that I've been presented with, damn it, Orlando, is that the membership in the corner cult of Thinky Talky YouTube stuff is hedonic adaptation to the we don't need no breeders no more because we have robots now, population issues, and I don't think so, because me personally, I'm here for the purpose of building the God mask and starting paintball for Jesus. So I'm not just coping with but I'm trying to affect positive change and make people feel virtually not alone. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Also, thanks to Magic, you get to see this.
Now, the emotion centers are free-tiered. And these free tiers reflect, one, evolution. You get evolutionarily old, but also as we go up complexity, we get more sophisticated emotions and fears and desires, and also more sophistication. So hypothalamus is something you learn about in school. It's the most one of the most important parts of your brain. Amygdala, you read about sometimes, but the ventral and medial prefrontal cortex is something that's less familiar. Now, these things deal with fear and desire in the most, everything you do naturally is driven by these emotion centers. And it's interesting to go into this a little in depth. Now, the hypothalamus is that basically. It's a tiny sliver of neurons in your brain. And it basically deals with things like hunger, thirst, and warmth, and things like, homeostasis in the most basic way. It deals with hunger by literally detecting glucose in your blood. So low glucose means you're hungry. It deals with thirst by actually detecting the osmotic balance between membranes. It actually measures the amount of water in your blood, and it actually measures the temperature of your blood. So basically, these are your basic drives. If you don't satisfy these drives, then you die. So your hypothalamus is the kind of foundation of all your fears and desires. If you don't do what the hypothalamus says, you don't exist. Now, the amygdala is slightly more complex and evolutionarily kind of more recent. That's the amygdala in front of your hippocampus. Now, it gets more complex because your amygdala deals things like, what hypothalamus does deal with sexual drive and orgasm, but the amygdala deals with things like sexual orientation and sexual preference, and also gender orientation, and also maternal behavior. And also in mice and rats, all sexual behavior is driven by pheromones. It's all driven by smell. That's why rats and mice in pitch black can breed like mice and rats, because they don't have to see. It's all driven by smell. So as we go further up, it gets even more complex. Also, the amygdala deals with fear, maternal behavior, and also conditioning as well. Learned associations, conditioned place preference, contextual fear aversion, conditioning. If you lose your amygdala, then you lose your sense of fear. So amazing. But it sounds great until you realise that if you lose your sense of fear, then you're going to start walking into cars and stuff. As we go further up the hierarchy, now Amygdala to...
Speaking of walking in the cars, welcome to the Griswold Grimm YouTube live stream. I'm your host, General Griswold Gaius Grimm of the First LARP Ingression Protocol. Hello, I see the assassins have failed. Today we're doing a special thanky-talky cornered egregore version of about this corner of the internet. And the thing of it is there's these bunch of human beings, much like yourself, who stare into this hall of mirrors that we've created together at the same time or at various times throughout the day. And their collective attention has formed this sense there's a body. We don't know exactly who's in it or what it can see from where. And that's part of what I'm trying to do with the building of the beholder and pulling clips from people who are cool enough to add them into our Discord clip stream in one of our 1,000-room Discord at the Broken Clock Tower, because it's a clock tower because I'm a wizard. The clock is for the time travel like Marty McFly. It's all deep and rich in symbolic popular mythology. It's a fun time to try and figure out, I think. But this one was from our good friend Lynn Lavoie, hero of the first ever prototype Monster Party. Wait.
I mean, just to point out what oil is.
What is oil, bro? Bro, what is oil? What is oil?
Oil is found in regions that were ancient oceans in the earth. And the algae, phytoplankton, that are photosynthetic organisms in the ocean, they grow from the sun and then they die and they fall to the bottom of the ocean. And over tens of millions of years, they're compressed and geology changes and it turns into oil. And it so happens, especially where you live, but our entire nation is one of the most geologically rich areas in the world. We have used more oil, coal, and natural gas in the United States than any other country in the last 20 years, in the last 50 years since the dawn of time. I mean, just to point out,
isn't it weird how I went to the reaping room to pull up a clip and Lynn's was in there and I grabbed and Lynn shows up in the chat? Sigma Trialectic and Lynn and Eve, welcome and hello. Thank you for being part of our hive mind experience today. You're making me feel more virtually not alone. We have this bubble and moments ago I played a clip from this talk that I don't know, I could never figure out why they called it. There was once this a star on which clever animals invented knowledge. But I played this clip and he spoke of these people with locked-in syndrome, which are basically like if you've heard the Metallica song One, it's people living like that. And we're all alive right now on this planet at the same time. Like there's people like that on this planet now alive. And you are on this planet, whether you're watching this now live with us or like in the future, you're part of this collective attention experiencing this recorded moment. And so I thought maybe as an experiment, we could put some love in the virtually not alone bubble. Just like send some love to it, right? And then have it go to the people with the locked in syndrome. Just like hey, here's some love from the universe. We know you're in there. And then so we could channel that feeling into the bubble and then we'll send it out there. And who knows, maybe we'll earn some karmic points. Maybe we'll make somebody's life a little bit better just through the power of our emotions. Because, okay. Now, there's a lot of materialistic nihilism going around my society these days. Alphabet, howdy. And here is my, hold on, okay, store up your love for the locked in folk. We're gonna do it in a second. Here's my claim. The foundation of the universe is conscious love. And our physicists recognize it as what is known as the Higgs boson field. Fun fact, Higgs had to like lop off the part of his theorem that said the field was infinite before they do the tests, which later found the Higgs boson particle, which they call the God particle. You know why they call it the God particle? Because they say that this is the particle that gives all the other particles mass. And you know what happens if something has mass? It becomes matter. So the particle that makes things matter comes from a field of infinite conscious love. And that is why we, even though we're just these people in various places across the globe, can experience the feeling of love and like put it in a thought bubble and distribute it through this field to resonate into people. Just trust me, okay? Just stir up a little bit of love and put it in the bubble. Ready? Oh, okay. Hello. We know you're in there. We love you. And then, like, because I did it and you did it, the bubble gets bigger. And then we send it to them. What? The Higgs field is alphabet. If the Higgs field is fake news, that blows my whole theory out of the waters. I have to go cope and seethe. Thanks, pal. Thanks.
And I don't believe we have that wisdom at all. We have more power than we've ever had in the history of humanity, and the least wisdom we've ever had, I believe. And I think that this, what John was calling the rise of propositional knowledge, is very important when one comes to look at things like belief in the nature of God or the world, because I think they are dispositional forms of knowing, not propositional forms of knowing. And unfortunately, in recent history, they've been presented to us as propositions that we either assent to or fail to assent to, whereas in fact it's a matter of how we attend to the world, because attention is absolutely at the root of all of this problem we see.
Coffee helps me work, it helps me fast from carbs, it's become one of the best parts of my day consistently. That's why I'm delighted that we're collaborating with Trade Coffee. They partner with top independent roasters to freshly roast.
I was trying to cope and seethe, Kurt, but you had to do a coffee commercial? Bro, you're clearly not Mormon. Okay, so my theory is spot on, but the physics people have it wrong. Good to know, Alphabet. Okay, further. Let's go more into the theory then. As the foundation of the universe is conscious love, it's the arena itself is agentic. All of our attempts at religion and whatnot are experiments in figuring out how to communicate with the agentic universe. And so I did a thing, and I don't recommend this, but just so you know, it's like your brain can be trained to recognize numbers if you attach emotional significance to them. And like our left brain doesn't really understand the right brain, but I think they want to be friends. So my left brain told my right brain, hey man, every time I'm thinking something that's spot on, it was like, whenever it's about to be 33 on the clock nearby, give me your best shit. And then I turn my attention to the clock. And I will know whatever I was thinking when I see that is I'm on the right path. And so, like, if I come in from the shed with a thought and it's like 10:34, then I know that it's a bullshit thought. But if I come in from... That's not even what we wanted to say. Hey, Alphabet, I played the song you recommended in the Monster Party last night, and I liked it. So we'll hear it again now.
flash, I feel amazing. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I wonder what song is lazy, suited Steno. And no one knows I'm broken, breaking promises still. And that's until my comic books start writing bill. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. What a perfect day, I finished all of my to-do list. I heard my favorite single by my Prince Van Moon Kiss. I'm a machine built to seek out my own pleasure. It just so happens that my heart's my biggest treasure. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I gambled everything and lost it incognito. And no one knows I'm broken, breaking promises still. And that's what's in my comic books, I'm writing bill.
Ta-da! Hey, for the music break. Guys, if you guys know people who make music that put it on someplace I can play it from, I all the time want to stop talking and run something. It could be your friend's music. Swing by the Discord or hit me up through Twitter or something. Speaking of which, we have a commercial from our good friend Chief Fragmented Dude Person. We'll play for you now.
Hey there, I'm Chad the Alcoholic, and the creator of the Friday Morning Nameless channel. I'd like to welcome you to join us for the latest and greatest and most up-to-date information about all the things happening in this corner of the internet. I want to thank you for your time and your attention.
Look, over there in the Hive Mind, networking happened. Hey, I'll put a link in the Discord to the band so she can subscribe. There's also a specific channel on the Discord called Speak Songs. So like if you're like having an emotionally resonant moment with a song and you want to express that resonance, you go to this Speak Song place on the Discord and it like resonates through this section of the corner because we check out what we share with each other. Oh, that was a Discord noise. So, there's a topic board behind me. You see this? No, come here. No, stop it. Goose, get out of the way. Jeez. Goose, come here, over here. Be smaller, man. Hang out with the owl over there. Oh, gee. You're not that important right now. Come on, there you go. Oh, so there's the topic board, right? And LARPing grown is a thing on the topic board. And apparently, it turns out, in recent developments, it turns out our good friend Chad the Alcoholic, the Friday Morning Nameless himself, is saying farewell.
Lives are going to change. And how much of a responsibility do I have to be proper? I can't think of the right word. It's something like not just be a good person, but like be the best example of a man that I can possibly be. And I may never run into any of those kids again, but I don't know, How much of a responsibility do I have to paying attention to what is real. And how much of a folly is it that I spend as much time and attention that I do on creating these things on the internet, like these YouTube videos and stuff, like, and how much of that is wasted and ill-spent time. And all of that was happening in the matter of like this 5 or 10 minutes that I was sitting there listening to these kids sing.
And it's true. If you feel that what you have to offer is something you're able to offer to meet space in-person reality, then we celebrate your return to meet space world. Okay, so for a long time, people were just like spirit and matter. And we were like, la da da, we're running around in matter. And then we got all thinky-talky, and then we made books. And now the books have become instantiated into this live, real-time experience, which is sort of like this new sphere of left brain thought and sharings of right brain shit too. But so we're like we're trifibian, right? Spirit to matter, and now this digitized thinky-talky space. And if your time here gives you sustenance of some sort and or helps you rejigger your orientation in the world in a way that helps you better focus, then it's good. It's good. If not, then just keep trying to make your savings throws. And one day you'll get out of it and return to the material destiny that you're training for now. You're gathering information. It's part of the problem-solving process. Don't be hard on yourself. There's lots of us stuck here on these attention farms, on these dopamine treadmills, but it's also where we can network globally. So it's, I don't know. We live in interesting times. Now, as I said before, the arena itself is agentic, and everybody's experimenting with different methods at the interface, and that they turn into religions. If they get any traction at all, any success, then it becomes a religion. And what happened was there was this guy. We'll call him JC, because, like, if you're going to be heretical, be heretical. And he said, it seems to me that if conscious love decided to, like, it was like looking, okay, so say, for example, conscious love looks down on this planet and it sees what humans are doing. And he's like, oh boy, none of these guys are getting it right. Here, I'll do it, like, if there was a video game I was playing and you guys were all terrible at it, I would make a walkthrough video. And instead of a walkthrough video, like, there's the embodiment of JC. And one of the fancy things JC said, if you had but the seed of the seed of a mustard seed size, that you could move a mountain. Now, if the embodiment of conscious love says that, and maybe he says, verily, verily, I say unto you. Before he says it, maybe that's how material reality actually functions. Which would mean that if you're looking at the mountain and you command it to move and nothing happens, then you must have a whole lot of faith that that mountain is not going to obey you. Right? Right? Remember, Embody, we want what's best for you. Goose! This is Cornered Egregore. We're an egregore, guys, and in the egregore of this corner, John Vervaeke says a good thing is recursive relevance realization, which means, first of all, we need the relevance realization that we're embodying this thing called this corner of the internet, and thinking together and part of this cognitive distributed cognition thing. And if that's the case, and relevance realization is recursive relevance realization is a good thing, we should go through some of the past shit and make sure the good shit is making it forward for the new people coming on board. And that's part of why I am trying to train people to make clips and reapers for the beholder that we all could be together. Earthquake? There's an earthquake? Where's the earthquake, Lynn? Let's check in with our local news. Earthquake news. That's right, here on the live stream, the hive. Yes, that. Good search term.
Powerful earthquake rocked Mexico's southwest coast today. The earthquake struck this afternoon in the state of Michoacan, but could be felt as far away as Mexico City. As KCAL9's Joy Benedict reports, today's quake arrived on the anniversary of two earlier devastating quakes.
Oh, we're not showing any, but I guess we better send some bubbles that way, huh? Hang tight, everybody. It's just life. Nobody gets out of it alive. Where'd you guys go? Oh, I minimized you so it can't see you now. There you are. Oh, you were talking about faith as a mustard seed, but there just happened to be an earthquake also today. What a world of synchronicity we live in. It's almost as if where's my... Wow, my mouse has turned invisible. Okay, guys, this has been the Cornered Egregore stream. The shed me is very disappointed with how not thinky brainy it turned out to be, but we did get a lot of thinky brainy stuff out there. That's not a good articulation of it, but it's out there. And we did send some love to the locked in people. We got to see Lynn and Eve and Alphabet and whoever's way up and Sigma hasn't said anything. So thanks for being virtually not alone with me. And if you think this is of service and would like to support it, become part of the Shadow Cabal of Production Executives via the links in the description. The merch is coming back soon, I've been told. Have a wonderful survival day, everybody.